Till now we were working with energy, and this last part is something which everybody starts straight away. But as I said, that first you need to activate your energy, give it an expression, then it becomes refined, then it becomes the awareness or meditation or Shiva aspect, what we call. So in our life, we are taught time management, business management, family management. But one management which is not even talked about, is not even I get to hear much from that angle, is first is energy management, and the core of energy management is attention management. Shiva and Shakti, that is attention and energy. They happen together. They are not two separate things, because energy is a conscious phenomenon. So one of the very basic things to understand is that wherever your attention is, that's where the energy will start to form and create. People are aware of their thoughts, people are aware of their desires, but they don't realize that your desire or your thought is there because you are paying it attention. Whatever you give attention to, that starts to become your reality. Your energy starts to form around there. Attention management is all third eye's work. Energy management is belly's work, but both work together. When you pay attention to your third eye, your energy moves there. When you take your attention down, your awareness comes into the belly. So this attention management, as I was saying, that life is a expression, and the way to make connection, what we want from others, from everybody, is attention. Because when somebody gives you attention, that's what everybody is doing. In love or whatever you see, politician to Hollywood star to anybody in relations, everybody wants attention. Why attention? And that is your slavery. Somebody is there, he gives you attention, you feel happy. So people steal attention from you also. How? By manipulating you psychologically. You start to think about them, you get hurt, and you are feeding them your attention. You see, this is one of the major, robberies which happens in our social life, that people will first make you connect with them, and then they will withdraw. Now you kind of go into this, or they will hurt you in some way, or they will poke you in some way, or they will say something, so your whole attention starts to think about that person. That way you are feeding that person, and that's exactly what that person wants. That's what almost everybody unconsciously is doing. So you must have seen that sometimes when you give money to somebody, many people do that. You give money to somebody and they will delay giving you the money back. Because when they don't give you your money back, you're thinking of them. That is another energy investment. You're constantly leaking out. When he will give, when he will give. So this I became aware many years ago when I asked my boss to pay me my money, and he said, I will call you in 20 minutes. But I knew that he will not call. So I got busy carving in the jungle. So spent 3 hours. I didn't think about him at all. First, that day I quit my job. The first thing he asked me was, I told him I'm desperate, I need money, my pay, and he said, I'll call you in 20 minutes. And he called after 3 hours. And first thing he asked me was, what you were doing till now? Because my attention was not on to him. I was doing my thing. So then I realized that it's not consciously. Some people do it consciously also. These are the black magicians or tantric, people who know consciously how to manipulate somebody. What you think movie stars or politicians live on? attention of people. If there is no attention, you are nothing. So this is what is the value in society? 100 people likes you, you feel good. 100,000 people like you, you are better than rest of the humanity. 200,000 people like you on YouTube or whatever, you feel much better, your value increases. But are you changing in any way? So everybody is deficit on energy, and they need as many people investing their attention into them. That's why rock stars, movie stars, on the personal level they are hollow, because they are living off the attention and energy given by other people. And same is true about you in your relations, that you feel good when somebody is talking about you, looking at you. Sometimes people are telling the stories of their life, they want you to listen. It's not about the story. While you're listening, you are paying attention, you're giving them your prana. Your prana is flowing into them. And this is where I am pointing out to you what is we call the energy and attention management. But attention is such an unconscious thing in us that you do not even know when you start to pay attention to random subjects. That is where, when your third eye is not developed, you are slave to any event which will come and take your attention away. To be aware of your attention, this is one of the practices you can do. It will change your life. It's a very deep problem and a very deep method also. I explained in my workshops also, but I see very few people get interested into it. The reason is that we all are essentially demons. We live in thought worlds. We need our thought world to be nourished all the time. Somebody says, I love you, you are the greatest person. That makes you feel good, because somebody gave attention to the thoughts you believe into. Oh, you also believe the same guru? Me too. Suddenly there is a camaraderie. So this attention is what we call, look, there are three stages. Awareness, which is cosmic awareness, everything is just awareness, and energy is part of it. Then this awareness becomes attention on the mind level, and your attention shifts constantly from one thing to another. Scrolling, your one subject attention, then you go to the next subject attention. Attention keeps on changing. And the same attention, if you manage it well, it can become concentration. So you give a command and you will keep looking at something. You will pay attention to a certain subject. You sit for half an hour, you will sit very still. Nobody can move you, no matter what happens. Storm comes, house is on fire, you will not move. That way, you are creating a commanding center within your body, within your mind. And most of the people do not have. And people who do not have this commanding center, you can't really trust them. That means none of you can be trusted, because we do not know when your attention will change, and whatever you give attention to, that kind of psychology will start to become your psychology. You become what you pay attention to. So attention is forming you, whatever you're paying attention to. And wherever the attention is, that's where your energy goes. And usually you are driven by your energy pulls, and that's where your attention goes. You feel attracted to something, you feel greedy for something, your energy is flowing there, your attention also starts to live there, and you become the object of whatever attracted you. So this way your life is accidental. You see a new ad or a new movie, craze go, I also want to see that movie. So now with that you have changed your destiny. It's not in your hands. Anything can come and take your attention away. And in today's time, every company, every politician, every actor, every human being wants your attention. Just one thumbs up for 1 second is worth millions to companies. How many thumbs up comes? how many viewers watched, because that's the market thing. And what each company wants, just your 1 second attention. Have you put something on Instagram or Facebook? Have you noticed when there are 3 thumbs, you feel depressed? Fuck. And you see 100 thumbs and you feel, yeah. You have sweet dreams. You wake up like an emperor and you check, are there another 100 or not? So you see, why? So many people thought of you, liked it. This is slavery. This is dependence on others. Behind it is that inside you're hollow and empty, and out of that come narcissist behavior. Mostly become narcissist because then they start to live, then you start to form a personality which will impress others. Look at most of the Instagram. Empty people pretending to be cool. And you're getting millions and millions of thumbs, and that is increasing your value. But if you look inside, there's nothing. There is nothing of value, there is nothing of power, there is nothing of light or sun inside, which doesn't need anybody's attention, which gives attention. Giving attention means radiating energy, but you are the master of it. Nobody can steal from you. You, whenever you want, you can withdraw. Like Krishna says in Gita, that a yogi can withdraw himself like a tortoise. When it feels too much invaded, it withdraws. You become centered into yourself. But that muscle of attention has to be developed. It won't come to you because your whole habit is outside. Thought is outside. Looking is outside. Who hurt you is outside. It's all you're shooting out. Self-realization or enlightenment is you realize that this light inside which shoots out. I am not the ray of light, I am the source of light. So this, in the beginning, may feel very lonely and alone. But actually, that's why mostly people are afraid of spiritual thing, because once you start to bring your attention back within yourself, you will notice thoughts are not you. Thoughts are just a ripple appears and disappears. And you are relying your whole life on that. My son, my wife, this many people like me, this person hurt me. And that's what is dominating your direction of life. Anybody living on the thought level, you have a destiny. It can be predicted what you are going to do. If I know your fear and greed, I can tell you what you are going to do next. But if you have no fear or greed, you are unpredictable. You become the cosmic movement. It's an anomaly. Usually we function in a regular way, in a pattern. Suddenly anomaly is that out of the blue, the present responds in a cosmic way. It's always new. It's always surprising. That's why really enlightened people are unpredictable. Because even they do not know what they are going to do. One Baba told me, even God doesn't know what he's going to do next. I was asking him, how about where my life is going to be, and he said, what if even God doesn't know? So that really shocked me. Point is that if you are a creator, why you need to know? You can create, isn't it? If there is a destiny, there is no point of creator. There is no point of Brahma. Free will means you can create series of events, but you cannot create out of reaction of your emotional and social reactions. It comes out of creativity. Any given moment, for example, your mindfuck is going on. You have a choice. Withdraw your attention, start to chant a mantra. Same mindfuck becomes the mantra and your frequency starts to change. So what you have done then? You have changed your destiny. This is something you should understand deeply. You have changed your destiny. Your destiny is defined by habits. That's where astrology comes in, that they tell you that under this influences you are going to behave like this. But as long as you are living into thoughts, you living into the events and the definition, they define you. But the day you realize whatever you think, whatever you believe, it's just a thought in your head. There is no reality there. That is the biggest breakthrough in yoga, for example. You realize your inner dialogue stops. You stop talking inside your head with people with various things. Isn't it? You are always talking to somebody in your head. Think about it. Who did you talk this morning with? Inner dialogue continues. And they say yogi's life, the first breakthrough in yoga is when your inner dialogue stops. Because I am talking with myself only. I create a character of my wife or a friend or a girlfriend and I talk to them. Repeat the old conversation and keep on repeating them. That is exhausting you. That is depleting all your creative energy. And always remember, each thought takes away lots of your energy. Your 80% of energy is consumed by your thoughts. And people whose minds become still, they become super efficient, super active. They accomplish great things because so much energy is available that they don't feel anything is a challenge. Out of that, they can even do miracles. Essentially, your prana multiplies, your power starts to expand. And in Taoism, they say that a good king will make their people's minds shrink and bellies bigger. He's saying that something not to feed them or something, means they are more living into energy, not into the thoughts. When you start to live in energy, you start to have a very cosmic wisdom. Like an animal, like a cosmic being, you just know whether you want to do this or not. You don't use fear or greed. You just know, I feel like doing it, then you just do it. Profit, loss, fear doesn't bother you. There is a very interesting thing that if you are afraid of something and you do it, you are creating those events by your fear. For example, you start a business plan. You are two things you will do. One thing is that you will be afraid, what if it fails? When you said it, you sown the seeds. Or other is also true. When you start to fantasize, once I have done this, now I will have profit, I will have a car, I'll have a house. So to your brain, the signal is going that you have already received the rewards. So your energy stops manifesting. Because you are, by imagining the future, you're already manifesting the reality into your head. That is the second way how you suck out of your own creativity, by imagining future. Don't ask me about attracting wealth and all, how to attract. These are just stupid things. They are black magics imposed on life. They have consequences. I'll talk about it in some other time. So, if you want to get out of this darkness, what is happening today, key is not to have a new government or new way of life. Key is become master of your attention. And that's what we are going to work on today. The esoteric aspect of it is that when you pay attention to anything in life, it reflects attention back. That's what devotion is. That's what spirituality is. If in your mind you're constantly thinking of life and its beauty, you're paying attention to trees, you're paying attention to the skies and earth, slowly you will start to feel some attention is reflecting back. This is even proved into subatomic level laboratories, that you create a vacuum in a room and you put some, I don't know, electrons or whatever is this technical thing, and you put a piece of cell or something there, and those electrons start to reflect that. They start to become like that. You understand what I'm saying? Anything you do, events around you start to reflect that. This reflection in devotion and spirituality is when you start to get God's attention. That is a bit crude word, God. Originally the word God comes from that which is addressed. That is the root word. God is not a name, person. It is also not saying that. That which is addressed, that energy which we address always, that is God actually in Latin means, that which is addressed. And especially when you are doing lots of meditation, people get addicted to you because now your attention is very focused. People will want to talk to you because nobody else gives you such attention. Otherwise, you talk to any ordinary person, yeah, he will take the phone, I'm listening, and while they, but the point is you want their attention, undivided attention. And that attention. So there are people who will take your attention, but you consume it themselves. But there are people who will take your attention and reflect back about you. That is what teachers or gurus do. They don't need your attention. But if you give them attention, they reflect back what is going on with you. So it's kind of creates a circulation and self-awareness. When somebody is giving you attention, you have two options. Either you suck that attention or you also pay attention. So you start to get reflected by the other person. That's what most of the people do not like. Because if you're feeling something within you is not good enough, this happens in most of the relations. You go into a relation not feeling good enough. You think other will fill you up. But once you're with them, a point comes when you are in each other's presence. That's why couples keep on talking, to avoid that silence in which you will be reflected. I have seen many people run away. They pretend to be great personality, very cool, but deep inside there is a fear that this person shouldn't come to know what really I am. A boring, lost person who has no talent, nothing. And in silence, it appears. But if you are generator of energy, in your silence, you become more powerful. Your presence is more there. In words, actually, you feel kind of little lost, but in presence, you are really. But in that presence, others who are living in mind become uncomfortable. Because then that presence, it starts to reveal them to themselves. And that's why people want love, but they don't really want love. That's why most of the love affairs are basically chit-chat, smartphone interactions, that's all. Krishnamurti has said that he always talked about attention, so he talked about one technique. So please do this technique as much you can wherever you are. There are many versions of it also. In this, one general practice you can start to do every day during the day. Notice any given moment, where is your attention right now? You don't have to reject it. Whatever. Sound of the bird came, you are aware your attention is now on the bird. I am saying something, you're listening, your attention is there. Becoming aware of your attention. It keeps on moving. Now you're becoming aware of the torch. Before you didn't know you have a torch. And you say, oh, I am seeing this bird. Oh, I am seeing this. But you don't know your torch is going there. Becoming aware of your torch is you also then an option, there's a button which you can switch off that torch. You withdraw from the world. This comes at later stages. And then another beautiful thing happens where the demons are afraid. You realize that you are a torch which falls on the thoughts. You are not the thought. You are not your name. You are not the word. You are not the concept. You are the one who is aware of the concept that my name is this, I am an artist, or I am an engineer, or I am an ordinary girl, or I am a stupid girl. These are all words. The day you lose trust on the mental narrative, you have risen above the humanity. Everybody is living in the narrative. Look at anybody. I am spiritual, I follow Sadhguru, I follow Shakti, I follow Shiva, I follow these words. But the one who is making the word is the divinity. It's not you. Because you are also being made. I am so and so. But there is one entity inside you which is attention and energy, which is cosmic, which is forming your body, forming your thoughts, and doing your actions. The more you have attention into your body actions, more graceful your body becomes, more powerful your body becomes, and more creative that energy becomes. Whenever you are trapped into a loop into life, just remember that your attention is not total there. Whenever you, in any loop, any boring job, if you start to pay attention, become aware of each action, you will notice a change starts to come. You start to think of creative ways to expand yourself.
Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhaj Man